My name is Gráinne Mulligan and I am a mature third European student in the National College of Art and Design in Dublin. And my practice has explored the concept of an absent presence. Over the past year, I have been conscious of how increasingly our lives are being mediated by digital screens, creating for me a sense of a divided consciousness of being present, for example, in a Zoom meeting or indeed at a funeral, but being absent in terms of how we experience and interpret our personal interactions with others. My practice has explored the absent presence of family and friends and the sense of the individual in isolation and feeling under threat in a digitized society. And my challenge has been how to materialize that concept. My research, which has involved a process of experimentation, has led me to a multidisciplinary approach, including using print, photography, video, paint, and the use of light boxes. And in my work, you will see concepts of transparency, sometimes using the silhouette or photographic negatives or empty public spaces at night to denote that concept. My work explores light, including using the cyanotype process, which allows images to emerge and create their own presence. While in my video work, illuminated foil and light and movement creates a shadow presence. My practice reflects the concept in the layering of acetates and in the use of Japanese segmented Gampi paper, which can be seen to act as either a filter or a screen through which the viewer can interpret my work. In my multidisciplinary approach, the choice of materials and processes were very significant to the materialization of that concept. Lux Blue Series 1 is a cyanotype print on Fabriano paper measuring 240 centimeters by 120 centimeters. The original image was a temporal oil image of my son, which I photographed, digitally inverted, printed onto acetate and placed on paper which I had prepared with cyanotype chemicals, which was then activated by the UV rays of the sun. The figure that emerged, partially obscured, appeared to me to be floating in water and for me created that sense of an absent presence and the figure in isolation that I was seeking. The cyanotype process is unpredictable and weather dependent and physically challenging when scaling up and washing and drying. I discovered that by applying polymer it acts as a base for applying acrylic and oil paint, which I've experimented with. The process of inverting the images produced an abstentia lexicon measuring 100 centimeters by 70 centimeters. I inverted the image and what emerged was a slightly dystopian and surreal image which seemed to me to reflect that sense of a divided consciousness. Lightscape 1 comprises layers of acetates on diffuse acrylic and measures 152 by 133 by 8 centimeters. I overlay the acetates like a collage, and the layers act as a filter through which the viewer interprets what one sees. Challenges included physically constructing the light boxes, sourcing diffuse acrylic, adhering the acrylic and acetates without damage, and selecting and installing the lights. In my video, a shadow presence was created using my own movement and light against a reflective wall which I created and a floor surface. Identifying the appropriate manual mode for video in a dark lit situation was an important learning outcome. Umbra is a Japanese Gampi paper on canvas which I stretched, measuring 250 centimeters by 150 centimeters. Applying Gampi was challenging physically in its scale, but also because it's fragile and creases and tears. The finished piece has imperfections which I deliberately decided not to paint over. It appears to me like a set of digital screens. Why should I be awarded this prize? In materializing my concept of an absent presence, I believe there is a strong conceptual cohesion and originality in my practice, which is situated within current contemporary art practices, both in terms of its subject matter and use of materials. I've explained why I have chosen those materials and the processes I have used and the modes of making. And I believe I have communicated in a clear and understandable way the concept of an absent presence and have used images that communicate that effectively. I believe I have a career as a professional artist, having had my work selected by the OPW for inclusion in the State Collection, and also in being awarded the Thomas DeMann Junior Memorial Trust Award in 2021. The RDS Visual Arts Award are the most prestigious arts awards in Ireland for graduation art students. To be selected, to have had your work independently evaluated and reviewed by highly regarded artists and curators would be an incredible validation of my work and provide an important springboard for me in that transition from a graduating student to being a professional artist. Thank you very much for your time.